can revisit that. We'll go back to that. That's back in the day stuff right there. But we're going to the hotline for the first time this evening. Out with the old, in with the new, but a little bit of maybe a little bit of old school with this successful weekend for this young man as he punches the ticket there in the sprint cars, winning at 105 Speedway, jumping on the hotline for the first time ever. It is 14-year-old Mr. Trent Dixon. Trent, how are we, sir?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing well, man. Thank you for taking the time and being a part of our little program this evening. Trent, if you wouldn't mind, before we start talking about this past weekend and everything that you're working on now, tell us, obviously we know your dad very well on this show, but tell us how this racing journey started for you.
Well, I got a go-kart whenever I was 3, and I didn't really work on it much, so I didn't get to drive it. And one day I came home, and I started taking the motor off, so my dad let me ride it around. And we had these 2 trees that I would go around, and he said if I spun out, I'd have to put it away for the whole day, and I couldn't drive it anymore.
Oh, my goodness.
So I started getting good, and I wouldn't spin out. And then he raked all the acorns around it because we were around oak trees, started spinning out again, and eventually I just got to the point where I could just run around the track without spinning out.
Nice.
That's one way to do it. So did your dad, Brad, did he force you into racing, or since you were around it since basically the time you were born, is it just something that you knew you wanted to do? You had fun in a go-kart, and you're like, well, let's see. Let me move up to this faster go-kart. Let me move up to this go-kart with wings. Let me move it to the sprint car, to this IMCA modified or sport mod, junior limited, whatever. Was it something you always knew you wanted to do, or did Brad force you into that?
He didn't force me. I grew up around the track, and so kind of just wanted to do it. He came home with a cart, and just all fell into place.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That is awesome. So, talk about Trent for you. How cool is it? So much, for we older guys, and I know for a lot of the youngsters, and your thoughts, so much of why we do this is the family time. You with your dad and all of that. That really is kind of the basis of why we get out there and go to the racetrack and just do what we do. It's about hanging out with family and enjoying the sport that we love so much.
Yes, sir. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, Trent, I got to watch you a little bit progress down there at Texana Raceway Park. Saw you win a couple of go-kart races, and saw you kind of put yourself into, running a couple of races in a junior limited eco mod, whatever you want to call them. And then all of a sudden, man, you start popping in this sprint car. I guess it's a 305 sprint car. So how did that transition? Actually, how did the conversation go, especially with your mom being like, hey, I want to move from a go-kart sprint car to a full-blown sprint car? How did that conversation go?
So I moved up to limiteds whenever I was 11, and those got really expensive because I learned the hard way and smacked the infield tractor tire and had to get a new box. And they just got a lot more expensive, and so we got offered to drive a sprint car, and then we decided to buy it and see how it is, and it all just worked out well. But conversation went pretty good. She seemed happy about it.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing.
They got to keep Mama happy.
Got to make sure Mama's happy. So, talk about the weekend for you. How was it for you when you realized, that you're going to win this race? And I think you're probably the youngest. I know your dad and I were kind of messaging. You're probably the youngest ever to win in an IMCA sprint car. The feeling as this was about to happen for you.
It was amazing for me. It started out with a great night, won the heat race by a good stretch, and went into the feature starting on the pole, and I'll admit, I was pretty dang nervous. But I just ran my race, made consistent laps, and pulled away. And I saw that white flag, and I was like, yes, I might actually win this thing.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
So how'd the party go? Was it lots of root beer after that, or was it just in shock for you? What happens after you win that race? You got excited on the white flag. I'm assuming you got just as excited when you saw the checkered flag.
We went to Denny's after the race, and we enjoyed some breakfast food.
Not as good as a Waffle House, but a Denny's is a good, solid second place. That's good.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
That's good stuff. So, Trent, I mean, obviously, you found your place right there in that 305 sprint car. What else is that going to be what you're doing this year, or are there other opportunities there? I think that you're probably opening the door for more opportunities. What all is in store for you guys, and particularly for you, the rest of this year?
We plan on just keeping in with the 305 and plan on running the Lone Star 600.
Perfect. Lone Star 600 tie-in. So now that you won in a sprint car, are you going to try to get your dad to allow sprint cars in that race?
That would be neat, but it's kind of dangerous, but we'll probably do that.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, no doubt. So Trent, talk about all the folks that make this happen for you. I mean, it's obviously a family effort, but it sounds like for this, there are a lot of other people, good people, that have put you in a really cool place, and you're taking advantage of it. Talk about some of those folks.
I'd like to thank Kinko Bucket Trucks with Team Gone Again.
Mm-hmm.
He's an amazing sponsor, Kenny Mongol. And I'd also like to thank Sandy Weld, Neil Manchester, Entertainment Company with Tim and Jackie Looney for making so much possible. Broaders Marina with John Few, Renegade Race Fuels at 105. H&R Air Conditioning, Tom Richardson, runs around with Kent Lewis Sr. a lot. Enjoy hanging out with him. Access Medical Clinic with Bobby and Lori Wisdom. FCA Motorsports with Donnie Schubert. EB Parts Company with Clint Leopold. Southwest Metals with Brian Brand. And I'd like to thank Kent Lewis Jr. and Sr. for guiding me to be with all their years of sprint car knowledge. They have been fast for 40 years, so I listened. He finished second with me, which was amazing, because two mainly best friends finishing first and second in the sprint car.
Love that.
That's crazy. So what kind of advice did they give you? I mean, obviously, Kent Lewis Sr.'s been running forever. Anything that can have wheels on it, he's kind of like Howard Willis. Running and winning everything forever. What kind of advice does he give you? I mean, number one, is he shocked? I mean, do people get shocked that he's like 75 and you're like 14 racing 1-2 over there? That to me would be just an incredible experience in its own right. But what kind of advice does he give you?
The main advice they give me is to have fun and just learn. They tell me every time I hit the track is seat time, and seat time's just learning for me this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that's the main thing, and you're taking full advantage of that. So, I do want to ask you before we cut you loose, Trent. How was it at the end of the race? I mean, I know that when the races are over, the fans come down to the pits and want autographs and pictures and all that. Did you have a lot of folks that came down and were wanting to shake your hand and do all of that? Was that a pretty cool after the race part for you when the fans came to the pits?
Oh, it was amazing. I had so much people down there. Some of them I didn't even know, but they were still nice.
Yep. There he is. Go ahead, Trent. Sorry about that.
I was just saying it was amazing. It was a really fun time down there.
Yeah, I love it. That is super awesome, my friend. You done good, and I know this is just the beginning.
Yeah, save some hero cards for us, so when you get famous and all that, we can tell everybody that at one point this future superstar was on our radio show.
That's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and when you get those shirts, 2 extra larges. Save them for us. You may already have them. I don't know, but man, we would love to wear those. You done good, and tell your mom and dad, or tell your mom and dad hi. Good stuff, man. Super good. Good job.
Yes,
all right, buddy.
I definitely will save y'all some, and I'm also going to win the Lone Star 600 this year.
Oh, there it is. Called it out.
Look at that. Oh, man. You heard it right here. You guys are going to get your ass kicked, or your tail kicked by my man right here. I love that, dude. We'll have to have you on right before that so you can remind them of that, my young friend.
Yes, sir. I will.
All right, Trent. Be well, my man, and keep doing it, dude. Proud of you.
sir. I will.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
Take care. There you go.
You too.
You bet. Brad told me he was shy.
I know, right? Brad said he was shy and was nervous. What? I mean, I could tell the first couple of questions he's a little nervous, but he's damn sure not shy.
No, not at all. I mean, that right there. You guys, you older guys need to learn how to have a conversation like that. I mean, that was well done right there by that young man.
Even if you here's a news flash and a peek behind the curtain, like at the Wizard of Oz.
Boom.
If you know you're going to be on a show, and it's a radio show, luckily it wasn't Zoom today for Mr. Dixon over there.